Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. This is episode number 564 and Doubleshot number 468. Two trades. First up, it is Supergirl Volume 2, Escape from the Phantom Zone. Collecting issues, Supergirl Volume, I think this is Volume 7. Yep, 7. Issues 7 to 11, and of course the story from Batman number 1. That story was written by Hope Larson, which pretty much is the setup for this particular arc. Yep, that's really the whole point of it. Steve Orlando writes all the issues. Brian Chang is the artist, along with Martis Bergania. I think there's several different artists in here. Let's see. There is Martius Bergania and Akina Mardina. I think it's how you pronounce it, yeah. The annual, of course, the story is just set up for this one. There's a particular character known as the Key to the Phantom Zone, and she basically, the whole point of that is to set up this particular arc itself. That's really the whole point of that short story. And of course, Batgirl and Supergirl meeting for the first time post-Flashpoint. As far as I know, these two never met before at all. But it's interesting, though, that they did this. I gotta point this out, though. The thing with how Batgirl is written by Steve Orlando, he writes her to be a little bit more interesting than she is in her own solo title. No offense to Hope Larson, but I think Steve Orlando does a little better job with it. And yes, I have heard that this particular series is ending after 20 issues, though with this volume anyways. Which I'm thinking, though, that's even shorter than the last volume, which was 40 issues. This volume by far is it's even shorter than Volume 2, and that was 23 issues. This one is probably the third shortest volume out of the 7 volumes the series has had. Yeah. Now, the neat thing about this particular story is that it brings back two characters who were from two different Superman titles, which from arcs are really good. First, bring back Mogog from Superman Wonder Woman. Yeah, first time anybody's seen him since that story. He's a character, well, this version anyways, was brought into this continuity by Peter Tomasi and Doug Mahnke. Interesting. Yeah, it was a story also involving Cersei as well. The other one is, well, according to Batman, Superman's Joker, the Phantom King. Yep, first time since that arc from Superman Batman, which was done by Greg Pak. I don't remember who the artist was for that one, but yeah, that was a really good story. It just basically, the story that came right after that was Dark Truth. Yep. But bringing back two characters from two storylines that came before the stuff with the Truth, it was interesting. The fact that Batgirl, as far as I know, this is the first time that I can ever think of Barbara Gordon has ever visited the Phantom Zone. Yeah, this is by far never happened before. Supergirl, I think this has probably happened 2 or 3 times to her over the years. She just visited here as well. But for Batgirl, Barbara Gordon herself, she has never been to the Phantom Zone before. This is by far first time. Also, Phantom King does get defeated in this story, and he might come back later on. Though, I gotta point this out, though, this is by far the second Superman-related trade, and with a shocking cliffhanger. First, the previous one was New Superman Volume 2 Coming to America, real Dr. Omen. Now, because I read from the series, Dr. Omen was in fact the new Superman's mother. Here, Supergirl gets shot by Cat Grant. That's a shocking cliffhanger in here. I know that's kind of a spoiler, but here's kind of the thing. The issue came out last year. Yeah, came out last year. But this story arc was really, really good. Supergirl, by far, in my opinion, if you get past the Supergirl TV show related stuff, it's a really good title. I gotta admit it. Though the first story itself has really nothing to do with the Escape Phantom Zone. It's just a story where it's just a Superman Rebirth aftermath story where Supergirl meets John Kent for the first time. She already knows Lois, she's known her for years. But as far as I know, this is the first time she's ever met John Kent, her cousin once removed. And he refers to her as Cousin Kira. Though I did read the recent issue of Action Comics, he refers to General Lane as granddad, which that's nice of him to do. But hey, at least he acknowledges Kira's family. That's very nice of him to do, despite the fact that out from his father's side of the family, she's probably by far his only, like, to him, Supergirl is probably the only other, well, blood relative from his father's family is still alive, though he doesn't know that his great uncle is still around. Yeah, the cyborg Superman is still alive. Yeah, though he also recently met his grandfather. But despite that, this was amazing. I get this a 9.5 out of 10. It's a really good book. I know Franker didn't like the first arc of this particular series, with this particular run, but this was really good. I highly recommend people who are Supergirl fans. Next up is something classic. Brave and the Bold, Bronze Age, Volume 1. Yeah, this is the Batman team-up issues. This collects issues 74 through 91. And you won't believe who teams up with here in these issues. He teams up with Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Deadman, The Flash, Plastic Man, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, The Spectre, Dr. 13. I'm trying to think who else he teams up in here with. Teams with a bunch of people. Also, there is two firsts in here. Oh yeah, he also teams with Batgirl as well. First, it's one of the issues in here. Issue 75, which is an issue teams up with Wonder Woman, 2 times does it. It's the first time that Copperhead, yeah, the original Copperhead makes his first appearance. Also, Neil Adams makes his first Batman appearance as a Batman artist with issue. What is the issue number? I know it's in here. That is issue number 79. Yeah, and they also had early on in the issues, before Neil Adams took over, they had this thing called the Whirly Bat. Let me show you off what this thing is. This is the Whirly Bat. My guess is the reason... Now, this is probably a leftover from the Silver Age. It's an okay device. It's just something quick to go off the ground. And from what I can tell by looking at it, it looks like a pretty low-tech device. And apparently Batman gets around in here. Though, here's something also interesting, though. Apparently, according to Neil Adams himself, on the Batman podcast, when he started doing this title, apparently this was probably, according to him, he heard this from the late Jules Shorts. He says this was the Bat title, probably the best one. And this was even selling better than Batman Detective. Yeah, I'm not kidding about that. Apparently, Jules Short wasn't happy about the fact that Brave and the Bold was outselling Detective and Batman. So he took him off this book, put him on Batman, and he's basically been a living legend ever since then. Of course, I'm going to see him again at Comic-Con. I'm asking him more about this because the issues he drew in here are really good. He draws Deadman here really well. Also, I've got to point this out here. Orm, a.k.a. Ocean Master. You get to find out his origin story. Yes, several years after his debut appearance. Though Neil Adams is not the only artist on here. Now, all of the stories are most of them written by Bob Haney with Mike Swarovski in Marvel. Marvel writes a text story later. Excuse me, but here are the artists: Neil Adams, Ross Urdu, Bob Brown, Nick Cardy, Arvin Narvik, and Mike Swarovski. Though it says here in the back Jim Aparo, but here's kind of the thing. Jim Aparo is not listed as one of the artists on here. I think he might be listed as a cover artist, but as for these issues themselves, there is nothing about him on these issues at all. Yeah, so despite the fact it says Jim Paro's name on here, he has nothing to do with these issues at all. The cover art, you're probably thinking that, okay, now usually these books are usually done by, well, since it's the Bronze Age, it's not Darwin Cook inspired artwork. This is done by Carl Kreechler. He's a good artist. I gotta hand it to him. He does a really good job of recreating the Bronze Age of comics, especially how Batman looks. Looks really amazing. Carl Kreechler is a writer and artist. He was also the one of the several writers on Superboy in the 90s. He's married. He was married to Barbara Kreechler. I think they're divorced now. They were the ones who revived Hawk and Dove in the 80s. Now, did he do anything with this in here? Nope, he didn't. Dick Giordano's on these issues, along with the legendary Joe Kubert. Now, everybody go, who was Joe Kubert? Why? He's the father of the Kubert brothers, Adam and Andy Kubert. Yeah, he's their father. So those two guys are second-generation artists. There are only like 2 of 3 I can think of who actually are second-generation artists. The only one I can think of who is the son of an actual artist, of a legendary one, is John Romita Jr., though he's not actually Jr., but he's the only one I can think of who actually is one. Oh yeah, also Wildcat appears in here for a couple issues, which is amazing. Though for some, now this is all Earth 1 stuff. I should also point out though, Green Arrow pops up in here as well. And Neil Adams gives him his trademark Valkyrie beard. His beard that he would have from this point forward up until New 52 relaunch when they got rid of it. Though they since getting back having a beard again, though it's trimmed down goatee. Which I myself very happy with that. And I gotta hand it to the stories in here. They are really, really good. Despite being late 60s, early 70s, it's probably a good period for Bronze Age stuff. Now, I should point out, though, the Batman TMs didn't technically start with 74. This is probably the first start of it. Let me look it up here. But as far as I know, that issue 74 is not the first issue Batman has appeared in Brave and the Bold. Here we go. Yeah, it basically, it became exclusively a Batman book, but it was not the first time he appeared in the book. Nope. Excuse me. In the Showcase Presents Batman trades, if I can find them here. Let's see. I know they're here. Here we go. His first issue is actually 59. Yep, he ran 59, 64, 67, and 79 to 71. Though 74 is the issue where he exclusively becomes Batman TM story, not the first time appearing in the book. I'm a little surprised they decided not to include those TM stories in here. But my guess is they probably did it just to focus on the exclusive Batman, because the fact at that point in time it became exclusive Batman title. I should also point out though that the Metal Men and Wildcat made a lot of appearances in that title. I mean, a ton. You want to know what issues they appear in here? Yeah, because the Metal Men appear in here. Let's see here. Let's see. They appeared in issue 55, 66, 74, 103, 113, 121, 135, 136, and 137. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They appeared in 8 issues. The only other character who appeared a lot in here, aside from them, was Green Arrow. Yeah, he made a lot of appearances in this title as well. Now, despite the fact that this comic book was also loose inspiration for the Batman Brave Mold TV show, Aquaman didn't appear that much like he did in the TV show. But these are classic stories, and I don't want to basically disrespect these stories. Nothing really wrong with these stories. I actually was really happy to when I was reading these stories. I felt really excited. And I really do enjoy Bronze Age stuff. And I gotta hand to this though. This is really good. Now, one issue in here, which is the second time Wonder Woman appears in here, she is in her white suit look. Let me show it off here. Yeah, one of a few books she appeared in outside of her own book. Yeah, if you're wondering who did that to her, that was legendary Batman writer Denny O'Neil, who had her lose her powers, and the only thing she got rid of her last of her truth. She kept the bracelets, but everything else about her was taken away. And this was the status quo for about 5 years in the Wonder Woman comic. It lasted from issue 178, and it lasted to issue 200. I'm not kidding about that, though. I'm not really sure why Denny O'Neil did that for. It's one of the most bizarre ideas. I mean, when I read of it online, it wasn't necessarily a bad. The stories weren't necessarily bad. They were interesting. Though, one thing I thought was really weird is that she never fought hardly of her own villains. I mean, she may have fought Cheetah in a yeah, there was few issues that were in fact reprint issues. Yeah, I'm not sure why in the world Denny O'Neil did that for, but he came back and fixed it because I think a lot of people were complaining about it because people didn't like the new status quo after a few years. So it was like, okay, we're having Wonder Woman go back to her classic look. And we're killing off Ai Chang. Yeah, Ai Chang was a supporting character who appeared in the book for the whole period of time. Though this character now also currently appears in New Superman as a supporting character, which is amazing. hmm Yeah, a Teen Titans thing, that is an issue. It was also collected in I think it was the second volume of Shoka's Teen Titans. As far as they do have their own Bronze Age, they do have their own Silver Age book, which, if I had enough money, I probably would get my hands on it because I do enjoy that. No, I love reading Silver and Bronze Age stuff. I love reading any comics from DC from any period of time because it's so interesting to read. Nothing really bad about these books. I know my friend Mass Panther would love to read this because he likes Batman, so I highly recommend him getting this, though the book itself is $34. If you can get a discount, go right ahead. But it's well worth the cover price because you get good classic stories. And it's only 18 issues, surprisingly. Yep. I'm going to give this book a 10 out of 10. It's amazing. Yeah. Also, I should point out, though, the Aquaman issue is actually a loose tie into what was happening in the pages of Aquaman at that point. For the last, year of the comic book, right after issue 50, they had this thing where the book became serialized. They dropped the whole Silver Age goofiness that, the book had been known for, a series of one-shot stories. It became a continuous story and had the late Jim Aparo doing the artwork. It was an amazing book to read during that period of time because from what I can tell, I think it started, though the seeds this was planted once they introduced Ocean Master and Black Manta. Though the Ocean Master first appearance, it read like a James Bond story, but with Aquaman as James Bond. Yeah, I'm not kidding about that. And Ocean Master was kind of like Blofeld, and his organization was kind of like Spectre. So it's kind of like they use ideas in the James Bond films because, when the comic came out, James Bond was super popular. So why the heck not? And to have his origin story told Brave and Bold, don't have a problem with that because Aquaman's there. So at least it ties into what was going on. That's one thing I enjoy about Brave and the Bold at that point in time. It did loosely tie into what was going on in each of these characters' books. Though Green Arrow didn't have a book until the 80s. So this is probably the only book. This is probably one of two books I can think of he was frequently appearing in during this period of time before he got his book. He was also appearing in pages of Action Comic, Justice League America, but outside of Justice League, that was probably the only book that he appeared in. As a matter of fact, Justice League, the name itself made a reference because at one point in the book, Green Arrow is captured, but Batman finds it, but his explanation is actually a good explanation. He is able to find it because apparently the JLA transmitter, the communicator device that all the JLA members have, has got a tracking device in it, so we know exactly who these people are. So that's the reason he's finding it. I'm like, okay, that's perfectly fine. I got no problem with that. It's a great concept. Alright, so, excuse me. So that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which gonna be on more books for the next couple episodes. One is going to be an Iron Man trade. The other one's going to be a Deadpool trade. And then the episode right after that is going to be 2 Iron Man trades. Yeah. But don't worry. You'll find out which trades they are in the next episode. Which episode 565 and Doubleshot 460. I think it would be 67. 69. Yeah, 69. But until I see you all in my next episode, bye.